Alright, several of y'all have requested me to do a field setup on the Equinox right here. And we're getting ready to set it up for field use right now. Stay tuned. Alright, before we get started, what I want to do first is to do a factory preset on the machine. Because some of y'all may have done some setting changes or done something that you maybe did set up not the way you do want to set up. So let's do a factory preset right now. And this will come in handy in later times. If you completely change set up, you don't like it, you can always go back to factory preset. What you do on the on button right here, you just hold it in and just keep holding it until you see it come on. It will come up, keep holding it in, and you'll see a FP show up. And here it comes. There it is, factory preset. So what that does, it resets all the default values for all the settings on the machine right there. So now we can get started setting it up. Alright, the first thing we'll do is go to the setting we want. And I want to go to Field 2. Field 2 is set up to take care of getting small silver objects on edge and all a lot better. Nice, fine silver coins. And I like that setting better. So we're going to take this right here and we're going to go, that's Part 1, Part 2, Field 1, Field 2. That's the one I normally use in the field right there, Field 2. Okay, now what we're going to do now is we're going to go through each one of the settings here and set it up. The first one you'll go to is you'll push this middle button right here one time. And you see it set up here. That's noise cancel. What that does, it will take care of getting rid of any type of electronic interference in the area. It could be power lines, alarm systems, or anything else. But to get this set up, what you do is you push this button one time. And it goes through a process right there. And it's looking for any signals in the area to try to counteract it. And it's got, I think, a -9 to a 9, I think it is. I'm not positive about that, but it's on a setting of 2, which is fine. So the next thing we want to do is go to the next setting. The next setting, right here, ground balance. All right, what we're going to do is do a auto ground balance. And we need to go to the grass to do that. So let's go over here right now and do it. And what we'll do is we'll leave it on auto ground balance. What we'll do is come over here. And what we're going to do is we are going to hold the plus/minus in while we go up and down on the ground. And what you'll see, when I'm pushing, you'll see a little auto frequency thing coming up here. So we're going to go like this. See it show up right there? We're going up and down. It's automatically ground balancing it the way it should. Let the machine do the job. Now it's staying around 63. We let it up. So it's automatically ground balanced the machine now. So you don't have to worry about it. It's doing it. It's automatically keeping track of the ground balance itself. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The next one is volume. Now, this can be preference for you, but what I normally do, my hearing's not real good, so what I do is I go up to the top. The highest you can go to is 25. I'll set that right up to 25. That gives the highest. There you hear it. Nice and high. Even on the headphones, you know it's nice and loud for me. But that's a setting of preference too. You can keep it. If it's too loud for you, you can cut it back down. Okay, let's go to the next one. Alright, this is a threshold. I usually just leave that at 0. That would give you a background tone, like you can set a background tone so you hear like you hear a little beep in it. If you get something, I think the best thing to do here is just leave it on 0. Leave it to factory preset. All right, let's go to the next. All right, now this is a number of tones that you will hear. Right now, this is set for 50 tones. That's way too many tones for me. And I'm gonna tell you something. In the end of this, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna change this, but right now, we're going to set it to 5. You can actually go down 2 or 1. But we're going to have it set for 5 right now. And we will actually go to 2 in some instances, and we'll talk about that after we get the machine set up at the end. Alright, let's go to the next setting. Alright, this is going to tell you what you want to hear from -9 to 40 is the range. You want to start with -9. You want to hear those tones. Just leave it at -9. The next one is recovery speed. Right now set at 7. I'm going to drop it down 1 to 6. And the lower, the deeper it'll go, but you also could get hit up with, if it's an iron object right next to a good object, if it's too slow, it might cancel it out. So I usually well, I'm sorry. Let's go back to that. I usually go back to around 6 is what I normally keep mine at. And I should do all the setup for everything. Now you've got all the settings set up that you need to set, and it's ready to go. You could actually go right now, detect in the field, and do great. But I'm going to show you some of my tips that I used when I'm hunting in the field, because you got to be dynamic and be ready to change depending on where you're hunting at. All right, let's check some of those out. All right, the first thing we'll talk about is sensitivity. When you're hunting the field, it's got a lot of mineralization in it. You might start hitting a lot of background static in it, and you'll have to adjust the sensitivity to try to get rid of some of that static. Let's show how we do that right now. Okay, when you got it in a regular mode, just hitting the pluses and minuses change the sensitivity. Default is at 20, so if you hit the plus or minus, you'll see a 20 show up. To go up, you can go up this and that, and go deeper. It goes a little deeper. The higher, the deeper it goes. But as you can hear, you hear that? You're starting to get a lot of static in the background. And you don't want that because you might miss a target. So what you want to do is lower this down till you do not hear any static in the background. It may be, depending on where you're at, it could be anywhere from 15 to 25. Sometimes you can get by. Right now, 19, where I'm sitting there right now, seems to be doing good. So we're going to leave it right there at 19. If you push either button, you see it show up where you're at. If you don't touch anything, in a few seconds, it goes right back. So now we got the sensitivity set up to 19 right now for this particular, where we're at right now. Now there are a lot of variances you want to do to this machine depending on where you're hunting. Let's say you're hunting a Civil War site and you might find some shell fragments or a whole cannonball. Right now the default is set up right now to not hit iron on this machine if you cut on and go just like it is right now. Right now you will not hit anything from -9 to 0. This particular one that goes up to 2, but the way it's got set, because it's trying to eliminate like coke, some charcoal in the background on field 2. So, and that's fine. But what you want to do now, if you want to hear iron, you have to push this little horseshoe button here. Now you hear everything. If you didn't push that though, you would never hear an iron object. And iron is actually default set. The tone is very, very low on it. So, if you're really looking for iron fragments, you need to cut the sound up on that, and the way I see it. So anyway, you want to go over here to sound, right here. See, right now it's showing 25 for the normal sound for 0 and up. But if you hold this down, it should go tone 1 is actually at 4 instead of 25. So what you want to do, if you want to hear those tones really good, run this up to 25. Now you'll hear all like a cannonball, shell frags. If you want to dig nails, you can dig nails. But now you'll hear them very loud and very clear. So that's what you want to do if you're looking for iron. If you don't want to hear the iron, just leave that down. Or just don't push this button here and you won't hear it all. So let's go back. Now we're here. Now you still see it lit up in here. If you don't want to hear the iron, just click that. It's off. You will not hear it. So that's one thing you want to do, because sometimes you want to look for the iron, and most of the time you won't. You'll be just looking for coins and buttons and bullets and stuff like that. So you want to have that on, because if you're in a field that's got a lot of iron, but you don't want the iron, but you got a lot of nails and a lot of little iron fragments from an old home site or something, you don't want to hear all that. So you'll just cut the iron off and just listen for the good tones. Okay, let's go to the next step. All right, the way I look at it, you can only dig so many targets in a day. So you got to adjust your thinking and use a little common sense. Let's say you go into a field and you've been digging shotgun shells. You dug 50 shotgun shells and all 13s, but you're really looking for bullets that are running 17 and 18. What do? You stop digging the 13s. So you got to adjust your thinking sometime. Now you might miss a gold coin doing that, but you'll get a lot more good targets doing that, because you're only digging targets you know that are in the range that you want. So you really have to be dynamic and ready to adjust your thought process on where you are at and what you're doing. Now, what if you're in a nice old colonial site and you've been digging little pieces of belt buckles and shoe buckles or whatever? I dig it all. Let me show you what I do when I'm in a site like that, for one thing. You know, we talked about earlier that we were on 5-tone, right? So let's go to that. Let's go to 5-tone right here. If I'm in a colonial site, and then at the beach, y'all saw me before do this, I will cut down to 2-tone. That way it will tell me any tones over 2, I'm going to hear it. I hear a nice loud tone. It's only 2 tones on this. 0, and how this is set up, I think it's 0 to 2, and from 2 up, you hear another tone. So it's only 2 tones. And I like that right there because in a nice old colonial site, a lot of times I'll dig everything. I've dug little tiny buttons from colonial times at 4s. You know, at the beach we dig gold rings at 1. So you could dig anything good in there, and you want to dig everything there because anything can be good there. But if you're at a modern day trashy site, you're probably not going to be digging stuff like that, and especially if it's a Civil War site that's been inhabited later on and all. It's got a bunch of pop tops and stuff on there or something. You might want to eliminate certain numbers. So you got to be dynamic and be able to adjust your thinking on that site. So in my opinion, anyway. Some people just dig everything, but that limits the number of targets you will dig during the day, and will limit, in my opinion, the number of good targets you'll dig in a day. So anyway, that's the way I think about it. Let's talk about something else now. What if you go into one site and it may be the only time you get to go to this site, and you only have 8 hours to go, and you only dig up so many targets? It might be the only time you go there. What do you do? And maybe it's an older site, possibly a colonial site. Well, you know, if you're looking for really good targets, you know silver rings up really high. You know, it's going to ring up, 28 and above most of them, unless it's something really small, a cob or something. And that's still in the 20s most of the time. So what do? You know what I do? I just dig the high targets. The other day, went to a field first time, never been there before, didn't know what was going to be there. I might dig a first few targets, see what's in there first, but if I have a limited number of time, I'm going to try to dig the high numbers first, just to kind of get a feeling of the land. And if you can go back, then you start digging other targets, but at least you'll get the good ones. Coins normally always be a higher target, even if you're talking about large cents, old coins, silver coins, hammered silver. All that's going to be nice high numbers. So if I'm getting a new site and I'm trying to just kind of see what's going on there and see what I can get there, I hit the big numbers first. All right, let's talk about pinpointing the object. You want to be able to get as close as you can, so when you put your shovel in the ground, you can get to it fast and move on to the next target. Efficiency is the name of the game. Now, the Equinox does have a pinpointing function on it. I never use it, and I'll show you what I do in a minute, but let's use what they do to start with. Let's check it out. Okay, we got a dime sitting here on top of this paper plate right here. What you would do, so you hear the signal, but what you would do if you want to use a pinpoint function, you push this right here. And what that does is sets this double D coil. When you get to the center of it, you'll see these little marks running the edges out. When it gets to the very center, it should be in the center, right there like that. But as you can see, I'm kind of 3/4 of the way up. See, it's a little bit less, so you guys listen to the sound and get those 2 lines to match up. Like that, right there. So it kind of takes time to me to do that. And you see it's a little bit of fluctuation there, and it's kind of coming and going. You don't get right on it and all. It takes a lot of time for me. I'm going to show you how I do it, and I do it fast, and I dig my targets. Y'all see me do it. All right, let's check it out. What I like to do is do it like this. Just as you come up on the target, let's cut it back off. All right, coming up on the target, you hear nothing. But as soon as when you start to hit the target, as soon as that end of the coil hits the target, you're right hitting it right there. Now you can't kind of keep our way out there. Come over here and do it again, and you know that's where you dig right there. I need targets like that every time. It's fast, it's quick, and it's accurate, and that's the way I do it. But you can use the other one too, but they both work. But that's the way I like to do it. All right, let's talk about target ID by looking at the VDI numbers, the visual display numbers, and what you should look for. Okay, first thing we'll do is look at a piece of can. It's an old, we call it can slaw. It's like a Coke can that's been ground up by the plow and all. Let's see what number it gives us, and would we dig it? Okay, here it is right here. That's what I'm looking at right there, just a piece of can slaw. Now, what number y'all think that's going to give me? Let's check it out. Well, right now it's giving me a low number, 16, 12, 24. I see a 21. 21 you dig all day long, right? But see how it's jumping around? It does not stay constant. 17, 21, 18, 16, 5. Usually if it's a target is not round, it's going to give you a fluctuating number. Now sometimes we might want to dig 9 round targets, but most of the time we're looking for bullets, buttons, coins. Most of the targets we got around. And let me show you what happens when you get to a target like that. It's going to be consistent. Let's check it out. All right, here we go. Here's a dime. I stand 24, 26. It's pretty consistent. Now if you go 90 degrees on it, like we just did with the can, still consistent. 24, 26, very consistent. How about this? This is the back of a pocket, that gold pocket watch I found the other day. Nice and round, pretty round. 19, 20, 19, 20. Now if you go 90 degrees off from it, look at that, 20, 20, 20, 19, 20. Very, very, very consistent. So normally if you get that consistency, you look at something round most of the time. How about a bullet? Well, a bullet stay consistent. It's round this way, but it's long ways. Let's check it out. This right here is a standard 3-ring bullet right there. As you see, Civil War bullet. All right, this way. 16. Very consistent. It's not jumping at all, as you can see. Well, if you come over here, this can, look at that. Just jumping everywhere. It's not no consistent number with the bullet. Within 2. It's right within 2 points. 15 to 17. What if we go at a 90 degrees and try it? Same thing. 15 to 17. Very consistent. And if we want an ID to dig it, right there, and come over the other way, right there. You'll be digging right there. So, if you're in a field and you got a lot of can slaw in that field, do you dig those numbers jumping around? No, I don't. But you might miss something. I'm not saying you're not going to miss something doing that, but I'd rather dig, 10 good targets than try to dig 50 can slaws, So I feel like statistics work in your favor if you try to dig those good targets sometime. So anyway, that's a little bit about IDing your target right there, and hopefully that helps you out. All right, let's move on. All right, to set a couple more targets up just so you can get an idea of what to listen for in certain situations. Let's check them out. All right, the first thing I got here is a horseshoe. Now, as you know, I don't have the iron on right now, so look at that. I get absolutely nothing right there. But just to show you real quick, certain times you might get, depending on what angle you're at. So one angle you get a little something, 90 degrees away, you get nothing. But what if we want to look for horseshoes? Some people might want to look for that. If we cut the iron on, let's see what happens. There it is. Any way you go now you'll hear it, because I got the iron on. So you're getting a squeaky signal and a good signal there, because remember we got that same signal the other way too, but definitely a signal on that way with the iron on. We're going to cut the iron off. This right here is a gold nugget that I found right there. Let's see what that gives us. 12. And it's going to be consistent. Watch this. 12. So, the point of that is being, if you're out hunting for gold, you want to dig 12s all day long. In an open field where you're digging can slaw, maybe not. But, just a little point, you got to use your head sometime and think about it and use statistics of what you're doing there to try to get the most targets. All right, let's check a couple more out. All right, this is a debuckle right here. Let's see what sound that gives. 25, 26. Come 90 degrees, 25, 26. Very consistent. When you got a lot of stuff from the old colonial days and all, they're going to be very consistent. The 90 degrees, always check it 90 degrees apart, and normally you'll get the same reading on a lot of this non-ferrous material. Now let's try a piece of cannonball. Let's check it out right now. This is a shell frag to a cannonball. Right there. It's actually giving us a signal. It is iron and it's giving us a signal. So, my point here, I want to show you on that is, you do get signals sometime. Even though it has the iron on, you'll still get a signal on this machine sometime, and you'll dig it and it's going to be iron. Sometimes nails will give you a good signal. It might be a little scratches sometime, but you'll still dig it, and I do it all the time. And hey, nail, what's that doing? Give me a 14, 14, 14. But sometimes that happens. That iron right there, you got to hit the horseshoe you did. So sometimes it's kind of hard to do it. You can try the iron by itself a little bit and adjust that, but that takes a little bit more effort to go and do that. I wouldn't suggest doing that right now. Just kind of learn the tones and what to dig, what not to dig. All right, well, I hope that helps you set your machine up and you go out in the field and find lots of treasure. All right, thanks for coming along. Don't forget to click like, comment below, share, and subscribe to the Gigmaster. All right, thanks.